Okay, gang, it's Fit Turbo Tuesday and Fitness Pillar. Look who's outside trying to enjoy his time in the sun. Oh my word, Josh. I cannot believe. Can we pull you back in to do one more for the seniors? I don't know. He's out there. Look at the view he has. You guys should appreciate that he's giving up that for us 3 times. It's calling your name, isn't it, Josh? You want to be out there? I know, I know. I'm so sorry. But how many of you noticed, watched him last week on Nutrition on Wellness Wednesday? Was that not profound? Yeah. And then yesterday, he did Mindset Monday. Oh, Josh, it was profound. Actually, if you missed either one of those, you need to go back because it was like a prison of flashing lights, all kinds of knowledge and all kinds of categories. Honestly, Josh, you've given us way more than just the topic. You've given us the full picture of what we need to be thinking about, right? And so now we're going to go into Turbo Tuesday, you guys. My goodness, Butterbean's story inside our community, by the way, Josh, there's always the questions about but I have a back problem, but I have shoulder issues, but I have knee issues, I have hip issues. It's like solid posts comments all the time. So we are facing the very things that you saw even with Butterbean. And so if I can give you the floor to speak to what our fitness pillar looks like, what are the ways that you even as a company are moving towards helping us in some of those categories too, that'd be awesome.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me again. The third pillar, the fitness pillar, obviously near and dear to all of our hearts. And as we age, those isms, those ituses, the breaks, the sprains, the ouches from sometimes we don't even know what. And I would suggest also that it happens to me too, because I have certain parts of my body that were messed up to some degree or another. And then if I get, like I never had a problem with my left hamstring, and it was one of the most flexible parts of my body until about, Bean and I were training, I think it was September. And I did an overstretch movement that I probably knew better not to do. And I didn't tear it completely, but we think, yeah, there was some damage there. So I was like, man, I never heard that before. And now that'll just join the rest of my stuff, you know? So how do we make it to Butterbean? How do we make it to getting over and through, maybe sometimes never getting over, but sometimes working with and through some of that discomfort? I think it's important to talk about the discomfort versus pain. Folks have different levels of that, and there's no shame on your game if you figure that, like, yo, I just can't, because it hurts too much, right? Hurt is defined by us as pain is ouch, right? Gonna put you in the hospital. Acute pain, let's go to the hospital. That's pain to me.
Yeah.
Discomfort is working through stuff or working with stuff. And we're going to try to do our best to, I'd say, sort of lessen, the college word for me would be mitigate those pre-existing conditions in our bodies to work through to get to our goals, right? And all too often that goal could be standing up without the aid of holding on to anything to push us up.
Yeah.
It can be, there's so many of us that haven't been on the floor. And so maybe DDP yoga is the first time that we got down on the floor since our kids were little or since we were, right? And so, as Dallas has always said, this workout program meets you where you are, right? Make it your own. Make it your own in terms of like, stop the workout, pause us. We want to go at the pace that you're comfortable with. And that's why I think just the brilliance and when they develop the program and the app, so comprehensive for all of us to be able to, you know what, if I want to pause it because I don't want to go through it for one reason or another, call it discomfort, but I can always pick that workout back up because the app reminds me, hey, do you want to finish the workout that you started?
Yeah.
And so I believe in my life that just the idea of dynamic resistance is so important for everybody. Blood flow movement through our bodies, I think, is so underrated. And breath and blood flow. Okay. And my favorite classes of all time before I started, I had to end them, unfortunately, because we were doing Change or Die, the show that everybody's talking about. I hope anyway.
Exactly. They need to be talking.
That we want to see, the people that want to see after seeing this stuff. Anyway, I taught a seniors class. I taught a chair class, and in my development, and I had two 90-year-old women as a part of like the 12 that it built to, and it was my favorite classes. And one woman was 94, and at the time she said to me, she couldn't remember my name, but she could remember to come to class 3 days a week, right? And what I loved about this interplay was that she would say to me, "Young man, why do I feel so much better when I leave your class?" And my answer was really simple. It all has to do with dynamic resistance. That when we're sedentary and we're reading or watching a movie or sleeping or doing whatever, we're not moving around, blood is flowing throughout your body. But when we force blood through our bodies, it has a compounding effect in a positive way. And it has the ability to put me to sleep. It has the ability to wake me up. It just depends on how I want to use it. And so that blood flow, it's isometrics, dynamic resistance, the idea of lifting weight without lifting weights, I think plays into everything that we do. And so I'm going to kind of wrap it back to like we started with being in a chair. And
Let me pull up Beans still, and you can tell us what we're looking at here. This part of your journey that you took Dallas and Steve.
Oh, wow.
In charge of all of this journey. They gave you the assignment, right? And you're looking at all, oh my word. It's
wow.
Thinking of how far you took him, because he represents all of us in the senior community that say, oh, but gosh, I have this back pain. Oh, but my shoulders. Oh, but my hip. Oh, but my knees. And you're looking at where you took him, Josh, and none of us can make an excuse, right? After seeing what you did with him.
Well, we all can, and it's okay. But if we manage our way through some of those obstacles and challenges that we have in our lives, anything is possible. I just believe it in my core. I think I believed that after reading Positively Unstoppable, and then I read it. I believed it after I put into practice the things that I learned from Dallas, and then it just grew from there. What is possible, and what I saw Dallas was able to do. He asked me to join him on the ride to do it and teach me, and at first I said, "You're crazy. I'm never going to be an instructor." Day one, when he said, "You're going to be an instructor," I said, "Yeah, you're crazy." To 5-6 months later being like, "Yeah, what's this instructor thing all about?" And then immersing my life in it and wanting to just like help people is the greatest gift I've ever been given. And there is nothing like it for for the light to go on in any of the pillars, right? That positivity, the nutrition. Oh, it's really that simple? Oh, okay. Okay. The recipes make it that easy? Okay. And the fitness. And so in designing the app, Dallas was very careful to do things for folks in bed that maybe never get out of the bed, folks in a chair that maybe never get out of the chair, and that's okay, right? But we can incorporate dynamic resistance. We can incorporate some of the fundamentals of what it is that we do. And Bean didn't understand that we don't exactly do yoga. Yes, it's in the name, but it's more than yoga, okay? So, but part of what you're seeing in the upper right-hand corner is sort of a push-up that Bean and I were doing. You're not going to find it in any other on any other app you're not going to find it in any workout. This is customized, as I may have mentioned in the prior session with you, Pam.
Yes.
These folks did have some advantages, and that was one-on-one work with our charge was to figure them out individually and to get them better quicker, however we could, right? And so sometimes that involved and what Dallas would also tell you, and what I learned from Dallas, I should say, is that we've got to work with what they can do. And
Yeah.
so with a guy like Bean, once we established a little bit of the things that we were looking to do fundamentally, which was to strengthen some things that needed addressing, that we were able to do this kind of work. And basically what you're seeing is Bean is doing a stand-up push-up, but he's also stretching. He's also folding forward. What you're not seeing is that when he would extend his arms back and he would tuck his chin and fold forward, I am there to support that chair to make sure it doesn't move.
Right.
I also did some supported push-ups on that chair because why not? It's not moving because, well, I don't know how it's, 300 and some pounds behind it. So I could do my push-up and he could do his stuff. And we could do it like a couple. And it was awesome.
Wow.
You, you're seeing below that, you're seeing Bean, a mini Bean, getting off of a scale in his arms in touchdown or in glory. It looks like I'm clapping. So I think that's just getting off a scale.
Yeah.
Right. And that was
crying too, and happy tears. It looks both.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing about Change or Die. Folks will understand about me is I'm so passionate. I can never be accused, I don't think, of being sentimental or being sensitive. I don't think, because stuff gets to me. Life change gets to me. And I am so grateful, humbled, all the things to be associated with watching it happen in front of my eyes every day. Not every day was great for everybody. Please. Right. There were days where they all will tell you they did not want to hear the sound of my voice. They did not want to see the crew. They did not want to. Nope. Didn't want it. No. Not again. And again and again and again. No. But yeah. So anyway, that is I'm very free to have emotion because you can't stop it, as Pam very well knows. Folks will soon see. I think it's based on my level of commitment. It's based on how much I do care. And it's okay for everybody to cry. You can still be tough and cry. Yeah. You can still be sensitive and be strong. It's not for the men of this generation. I get it. I do. Yeah. But well, hey, Dallas,
when I watched this video that you guys released, I was crying all the way through. But Josh, you see the picture kind of just below the word Bean, where he's come off and he's rushed over to you and he's hugging you and he's crying. I fell apart at that part of the video because it was so precious to me to see how much he valued your investment in him time-wise. That was one of my favorite parts of the whole video, was watching him rush. Rush for somebody that could barely walk. Right. He rushed over and melted into your arms. And I thought that was the coolest gift, to see the trainer and the student celebrating together.
Oh, thank you for noticing that. And it is one of my favorite parts of the piece as well. There are for every good thing that I could ever hope for, I'd never in my life would have thought that I would be doing this for a living. And I'm so grateful and beyond to be a part and associated with, even having the opportunity to have the trust, to be there, to learn, to do the things. And there is real emotion, and that I don't know that you could make that stuff up. I certainly can't. And it's real, and that's something that everybody should know, that Dallas, amongst other things, is real. And that guy, part of what I think for me as like when we first met, like, oh, this is my ex-wife's new boyfriend, was like how he treated me. I didn't want to meet him for any power struggle. I wanted to meet him because he's going to be around my daughters, and I just, for my own peace of mind, thought it necessary that we shake hands and look eye to eye. And it wasn't about that. It was about, I did think that I wanted it to be a positive relationship, despite our divorce and separation, whatever. It is possible. At least I wanted it to be possible. Yeah. And he was great. He never went Hollywood on me. He never is a real guy. And I would tell you that I cannot do this if he was not. As everyone who's ever met or come across him he is just a, yes, he's been notable and a lot of people know who he is, but like when you sit and watch a ball game with him, it's just a dude watching a ball game. When we sit and eat food, yes, he's still Van Dallas Page, right? But he's an amazing, amazing dude. And I'm just so super fortunate.
We could get you to step into one more thing that I think the 55 plus
Sure,
need to know.
sure.
We've alluded to this change or die. We've made kind of reference change or die. But that right there, if they don't know it, that's a giant passion that Dallas had and incorporated you, and Steve, you had and incorporated you. Explain to these people, give them a slight peek into the door of what is this actual, because it's a real thing and they don't know.
Sure.
Change or die.
Sure.
So
Sure. I'm
share
happy
that
to.
with them if you wouldn't mind.
I'm happy to. Uh, we, I was asked by Dallas to come to Atlanta to participate in what they called a docu-series. And the name of the docu-series was called Change or Die. And what does that mean? Well, we were going to film me, not me. I'm not, strike that, y'all. Sorry. We're filming 5 people and me moving into a house, one of a house that Dallas used to live in that the company has used. He's Airbnb'd it out, but we had this big space and okay. Everybody had their own bedroom. 2 of the cast members were of super notable news. Butterbean, who I knew, but I knew of the name Butterbean, and certainly I'd seen his stuff, but did not know him. I never met any of the folks. A man by the name of Marcus Buff Bagwell, former wrestler, former pro that folks have come to know now, and 3 other people. A guy by the name of Taylor Sowers. Cece was and Mildred Mason. Cece, oh God, you're gonna kill me for a blanket on your last name right now. I love you, C. If you ever see this, but we moved into a house, and quite literally, as I'm hopeful to see, under Dallas's program, we lived towards achieving everybody's individual goal, changing, and everybody had different things that they needed to change.
Yeah.
And so over the course of 4 months, and when I'm hopeful that you will see at least 8 or 9 or 10 episodes of, we lived with cameras. The crew that is behind the scenes that shoots the app workouts is the same folks. It was like family. When I say that, like, it's not just me and Dallas and Paige, it is like folks you don't see, and maybe you guys will never see. Nathan Mowry, Dylan Frommeyer, who's an editor that like is, I think, amazing at his work. Trevor, Maddie, just Nadia. I'm so involved in everything that we did. This whole team of folks ended up helping 5 people that became so near and dear to us all. And it wasn't all roses all the time. You put 5 different persons.
I've only seen like I think 1 or 2 that we got to see that Steve
Yeah.
let a few of us in on, and it is so raw. It is such a connector on every possible level of what you go through when you're at the bottom, and then additionally interacting with each other. I thought was hilarious. So those 5, that was a whole nother babysitting. I don't mean babysitting.
No, how to get along.
Had, because they also had to put up with each other and their own,
Sure,
which is another level of everybody wants to live on an island to overcome our health stuff, but we got a spouse maybe or a kid, so you're thinking, wait, they're bringing food in I don't want, right? And they're this and they're that, but that proved everybody can be at a different spot and you can still
yes,
find your own way.
yes, absolutely. We I'd like one thing to be known, that while we all lived in the house together, it was not like Big Brother. You could leave. And Bean and Marcus had events where that's how they make a living. Part of their own compensation is going to events, be they Comic-Con, be they appearances for autograph signings, be they whatever. Generally, those events are Friday, Saturday, and the other three, Cece, Taylor, and Millie, were in the house with me. So I was kind of the house dad. In fact, two of the cast members, as you'll see, literally, I think not I think, I mean, we all kidded around. They call me dad. Millie, I don't know that would ever call me dad. She was like, Ma. But we grew as a family, and I'm very, it's just these folks, it's wild. Like, we didn't know each other when we walked in the door. And if you got us together right now, you would see tears and hugs and laughter, I would hope. There was a lot of realness, and there was a lot of love and support that went on, that I'm hopeful that everybody sees really soon. It was Steve's level of commitment is Steve, and I like, yes, Steve, but Nadia and Trev and Nate and everyone that was there. Like, you,
So
it's moving.
can we tell them, is there a time frame that possibly this will be released, or at least what the intent is?
Sure. Folks, all I could do is tell you what I know, and I'm not they don't ask my opinion on these decisions, and I stay in my lane, everybody.
Me too.
We got a lot going on with coaching.
Not ask you the question, right?
So sure, and I appreciate it. I'm going to squirm. So my hope is that it is released really, really, really soon. Obviously, these stories mean a lot to me, and they mean a lot to other people, and I want them to serve as motivation for everybody else. Right? I don't care if they ever go on Discovery Channel or Big Time. I don't care where we put it. I don't care if it goes on the app. I don't care. It is, I think, furthering what we do as a company to help people, and to help people understand that anything is possible. And I've been in the room, and when stuff happens that has just, oh, now we're doing that. Oh, wow. You couldn't do that the other day. And so I would never be cavalier to think that, like, we did something that nobody has ever done or whatever like that. I'm just really proud of the crew and everybody that I was with, and Dallas and Steve and everyone. And so when you put this kind of an effort together, there's a chance that it doesn't get sold on those big networks and what have you. And so there's been a process, I suppose, behind all that stuff. And I think it's super timely now with the release of Bean's story, and that we've all sort of been talking about it again. And these episodes were self-produced by the company, and they are done, unless they want to change them, I guess. I've seen maybe half of them, and it's amazing. It's weird to still, like, see that, like, oh, we did that, and to see myself, that never is, like, I just don't watch myself back. So that's weird to me. But it's,
say two things. One is, all these people that are watching you do this are responsible for getting that Butterbean link everywhere you can. Every friend and relative you have, get that there, because
please,
the more lift we get on that, Josh, right? The more lift we get on that, you guys, we're going to get that much closer to seeing the Change or Die series that I'm telling you. It's so breakthrough. You guys might think you know who DDPY is as a company, but you have no idea how many people like Josh. And of course, coming off of Dallas and Steve, they mastermind all the time. Where are we going next? What's the next thing? And it's never about how much money they're going to have to spend to get there, is it, Josh? It's always about, will that move the ball down the court to help bring belief to someone?
Yeah, I think it was also like, hey, this could work. This is a cool idea. Like, so it's wild sometimes how things germinate. I was not obviously a part of the initial conversations, and it was so like I said earlier, all the things when I got that phone call that I was never expecting. Um, I never like that. So if you'd have asked me, like, is that even possible? Is Dallas ever going to shoot a TV show? I'd have been like, yeah, no, whatever. But I didn't know that they were cooking this idea up. And then when he called me about it, I was absolutely like, whatever, man, let's go. Whatever you want to do. Of course, I will do whatever. I'm working for the company at that point also, which is separate. The stuff that I've done with Change or Die is obviously separate than with from my work with instructors and coaches. And thank God for, Hayden. Hayden and I, it's kind of a two-headed thing where, he had my back when I couldn't. When you're doing 10 workouts a day, 5 days, and the weekends weren't as bad, but there's a lot of workouts. I had to curate those. I had to spend a lot of time working on that stuff. And Hayden carried my load. And I appreciate Hayden. If you ever see this, I love you. But we sorry.
Well, and
Will I get back to like, sorry, go back.
Both Hayden and Josh are the two that coach all of us coaches. They're the coaches that coach the coaches. So that's a big responsibility that they keep us as a fast track coach or a trainer of these workouts. We represent the brand, and they make sure that we don't get the title unless we fit in exactly the vision of DDPY. So that is a whole other job that he carries in addition to this Change or Die.
Well, putting the work in too, right? And so everybody's putting their work in, whether you choose to be a coach, an instructor, what have you. You just choose to make it through the program, just choosing to make it through a workout. Yes. To the community on the workout side, I just say that we have released the back builder workouts that you've seen. Yeah. And I'll just kind of tease that up, that there are more body parts coming. This is an attempt, not an attempt, it's an effort, because it's real. It's not an attempt. These things are happening, where we have seen the recovery of Bean. And, as you've seen, we were in the hospital with him. So that did include stuff that you'll never see. That includes all the prep that that he sat through and I sat through with him. And we also, whether it was Steve, Trevor, Nate, somebody shot it all.
Yeah, I can hear Steve's voice on the back of the camera when you were hugging Bean. I'm guessing just before he went into surgery, it looked, or it might have been just
after. Yeah, it was Steve. It was Steve Libby.
Voice
Steve,
on the back of the camera.
And so we knew that there was very little mention of what are we going to do with our body with the new body part. It was all about, which to the medical professionals' credit, they want you to keep the wound clean. So wound care was like, huge. The two areas that they really didn't talk about were what physical therapy we were going to have and nutrition, two things that I think would be pretty important. And so we tackled we didn't know that we didn't know that you got a piece of paper when you got a hip replacement. And the prescription was 3 days a week with a physical therapist for a month. Yeah. And so then we said, well, what if we did it? Steve's idea, he's so smart to think about this. Well, what if we did a little bit of DDPY mixed in with a little bit of therapy? And so what we've done is sort of take protocols from what your physical therapist would do. Thank you, Matt Kilgore. Because Matty is a level 2 instructor that takes what he does in a clinic, and we work together to DDPY it up. And so low back is back builder is the first. And so we're going to have some other stuff coming. Please know that this is a really a very strong, passionate thing that we all, Steve and I both feel really, really, I already said strong and passionately about. So that this is going to help people. And so for this group, I think it's applicable to every group, but to this group specifically, we've got knee coming, we've got shoulder coming, we've got hip coming, and we're not even done. And so what these will be is you'll build on what Back Builder was, and first video is short, second video is a little longer, third video, fourth video. These are designed to get you back on your feet, or they're designed to go back to it if you get that tweak, right? And so if you haven't checked out the back builder workout, sorry to sound like a commercial, please check them out on the DDPY Now app.
Hey, I do commercials. That's what I do Monday through Friday. I don't want anybody to miss what you guys are doing. I'm not paid one penny from DDPY. Now I'm a coach, right? But that's different. I'm not paid anything for these. I just want the story to go out. And thank you, Josh, for bringing in to the fitness pillar the fact that you guys ain't done yet. How many know that? They're not done giving us what we 55 plusers are seeing quite a bit of, the hip, the shoulders, the knees. I mean, you called it. Thank you for never settling for where you guys are at. Coach DDP said one time, he said, we put the jet up in the air, and while it's up in the air, we are building all the parts to the plane up there. And you are right at the head of that trusted circle, that you got the vision, you got the understanding, and you are,
thank you.
You are working on all of our behalf. And I think, obviously, I always thank Coach DDP. He's coach to me, right? And Steve, I adore, and their differences even make them such a perfect match. And I thank you, Josh, for being a leader of the leaders. And we treasure you. And I can't believe that we got your 3, you guys. Watch his other 2. Yesterday was Mindset Monday, and last week was his nutrition one on last Wednesday. But I hope I can beg you back another time. He's turning our age, by the way. He's fitting into us. And did you say June is your 55th birthday in June?
Yeah. It is.
Yep.
It is. I'm a summer of 69 baby.
Yep. So very good. So you guys all know my birthday present to him will be bugging him until he gets in and really a part even more of us. So thank you, Josh. I appreciate your time and all the time you took away from the beach. And you're sweet.
Oh, please. Please. Yeah. Anytime. It's my pleasure. Anytime we can fit it in, I'm happy to do it. And
I've stolen you quite a bit to
it's
do
okay.
It. Bless your heart. Thank you.
It's okay. I love it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pammy.
Love you.
See you guys.
Talk to you soon.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.